Alright everyone, this is video 5. Today's video is Redditors who have been clinically dead. What did you experience in death, if anything? Posted by Jason Voorhees. I like that name. Not bad. I was dead for 6 minutes. I was lying on the gurney and I was getting colder. Somewhere my body started warming up and everything became really calm and peaceful. I was no longer in pain. All the noise from ER just went away. It was really enjoyable. I was thinking about my daughter and I was remembering all the things we have done. Slowly, it was just black and nothing. There was no knowledge of anything. I explain it as it was like before I was born. Then the worst thing in the world is being revived. I started hearing loud noises. I felt this massive pain. Then there was the nastiest stench ever. The smell was like every dead animal had crawled into my nose. The smell was so bad I started vomiting. I remember the doctors turning me on my side and watching my vomit spray on a nurse. Dying was the most pleasant thing I have ever experienced, and being revived was the worst. That's pretty wild. I coded after surgery. I remember being able to see and hear everything and understand what was happening, but I couldn't physically feel anything. It was deeply unsettling. My heart also stopped after surgery 3 years ago. I only remember them getting me back and drifting between darkness and seeing the nurses panic. Like you mentioned, I felt nothing and was just an impartial observer. The aftermath was the worst, realizing how close I was to oblivion and recalling the dissociation was horrifying. People often say, "Oh, I'm not worried, she's a fighter," when someone gets very ill. But me, I was like I was just ready to watch myself, or I feel like I was just ready to watch myself fade into the dark despite being content and having things to live for. Unsettling is exactly the right word. My wife and I discussed this at length. 4 years ago, she died twice in 3 months, needing full resuscitation both times. Both were lengthy rescues. One resuscitation was off and on for nearly 40 minutes. I asked her later when she had recovered if she remembered anything at all during the time she was clinically dead. She remembered nothing. Blackness, no light, no relatives and former pets were waiting for her, just black. Thankfully, also no pain. She finally passed 18 months ago, and I hope she felt no pain or worry the final time. Edit to add. It started with 2 spontaneous brain bleeds. Technically, it started with her having lupus. The first brain bleed led to her passing, but they did a craniotomy, revived her, then a rebleed. The trauma from all that caused her lupus to set fire, which led to complete kidney failure and another cardiac arrest, passing and recovery, which led to 2 strokes. She recovered enough to be home and mostly independent, but having to go to dialysis 3 times a week for 3 years. She passed the final test to get on the kidney transplant list on Wednesday and had a massive cardiac/respiratory event at dialysis on Friday, where she passed again, but was kept alive on life support. I waited a week hoping for recovery, but we disconnected life support per her wishes. A topic we had talked about many times. I mean, that's really tough. I mean, if you're on life support, I mean, I know me personally, I feel like if I was on life support and strictly just being alive through tubes and medication or whatever it is they're keeping you alive with, then like what kind of life is that? I mean, if I was like a vegetable, I would tell my loved ones to do the same thing. But I don't know if she was a vegetable, but that's never easy. I couldn't imagine. I can't assume I know what he went through. I don't know what I experienced while I was dead, but when I woke back up, so to speak, I remember wanting to experience it permanently. I feel like it's different for everyone. Some people are saying it's extremely pleasant. Someone's saying it's deeply unsettling. He said he wanted to experience it permanently. So, I mean, it's got to be different for everyone. different circumstances, and let's see what other people experience. See, I don't think I can really post my experience here because I wasn't deemed clinically dead, but I did get hit by a car once when I was about 13. I will never forget the experience that came afterwards. I was biking when a lady hit me with her car. I had a moment prior to being hit where I knew it was going to happen, but it was far too late for me to actually do anything about it. I braced for impact, got hit, and went straight into the state of complete utter silence. I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything, no smells, no thoughts, no feelings. I just simply existed in this peaceful black bubble, and it was the most at peace I've ever been in my life. It felt like I had been there for hours, honestly. But really, it only had been a few seconds before I woke up, and everything came back. The loud noises, the pain from being hit, seeing all the cars, etc. It's crazy, though. It was one of the most amazing feelings I've ever experienced. I mean, I hope by people listening to this or reading it, that this might ease people's nerves and about, the fear of dying, because, it's a big unknown, probably one of the greatest unknowns. No, you'll never figure it out until the day it happens, and everyone's really scared of it. But from seems like a bunch of people saying that it's peaceful, hopefully, that'll make people less scared. Not that people should want to experience it early, but when that time comes, I don't know, maybe it'll ease people's nerves, if there's any good to reading all these. A friend of mine described death. She was technically dead twice, as being surrounded by darkness and floating with some sort of worm-like gel substance covering her. She never wanted to leave that state. That sounds unsettling. Being surrounded by gel? I don't know. So you got being surrounded by gel, just complete blackness, unsettling. Everyone has something different, it seems. When I was 15, I was scheduled to do a tilt table test, when they lean you up at an angle on a table. Because I was consistently experiencing dizziness and fainting spells, after about 20 minutes the doctor tilted the table back and I could feel myself passing out. I got severe tunnel vision and lost like 95% of my eyesight, like looking through a straw, and then I blacked out. I remember hearing the doctor call the code and my father cussing at the doctor that he killed me. I remember hearing a lot of slamming and banging around, which I assumed was a crash cart, and nurses shoving into this small testing room. I felt the pressure on my chest, like when you have someone standing on your back to crack it. Oh, that's great. That's the best. When I found out later was the nurses doing CPR, I saw an array of vivid colors kind of dancing around, forming objects in the dark. The scariest thing was how peaceful it felt. Just pure 100% peace. No panic, no pain, no sadness, nothing, just bliss. I coded for just under 2 minutes, and as soon as I came to and opened my eyes, I felt seriously angry and hostile. I started ripping off whatever I could get my hands on and yelling at the doctor to get me off the table. Just so people don't assume what I was saying was towards what was him I just don't want people to take it the wrong way when I said that's the best. I meant that when he said it's like having someone stand on your back to crack it. That's the best. I wasn't saying that to what he went through. Just that small portion of what he said is why I said that. We'll do one more. Not mine, but the head of my program was in a horrible car accident. She was dead for a few minutes on the scene while paramedics worked on her. She said it was the most amazing feeling she's ever experienced. It was blank, black, nothing, but that was perfectly fine, and she felt a comfort she can't even explain. She remembers being angry at the man working on her when she finally came back to her body because she wanted to stay there. She told us she can't wait to experience it again when it's really her turn. Edit. I'm really pleased this resonated so strongly with so many of you. I wanted to add some detail about her. She's not religious in the slightest, and she actively quashes our ghost stories and shit, mortuary students, because she only believes in tangible things, so she fully turned me into a believer. Felt it's important I make a distinction. She was very adamant about when telling us the story. She's not advocating suicide. She stresses that she isn't telling us she's trying to reach this place again, but that when it is her time, she was going to be comfortable embracing it. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. Pretty much that last portion says it perfect. If there's any good coming out of it of this video is maybe that people be slightly more comfortable with the idea of when it happens. It might, it being peaceful and no pain, and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully there's some good that you take from this. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, again, please like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next video.